Abusuya ya mama kwa basonko so de bagana politics avenue so abusuya muma yembo nra yesem. Sene no first time I ya one subscribe no wa share no wa hit notification bell no so amai. Then send me political headline so a ye DP aba abedum. Abusuya muma yembo nra yesem. Abusuya chairman Wontumi ene ne lawyer ne new lawyer wafa no. Abusuya be breaking no political headline so de mamu say omo file application da koma high court say eye 3 July judgment day no almost record the court entry judgment day no kwa chi kakrama na afena ono so aba biso chema Wontumi sama boy case na afena ono so aba biso ano na court no akache Wontumi ne lawyer say omamo up to 29th June ya said the ombe no mo ya na sa sembi wo ha omonka na say 29th June pa ho dia omuni bibia fa ho bi so nstem no ana ya project dia to screen so screen nchen e dia mamu no Samuel Boy mining case High Court set 29 June 2026 to hear Wontumi application to postpone July 3rd judgment date. Entino High Court akache Wontumi ne lawyer say omamu up to 29th say omo wa semika na so omo bibia omo nye na June 29th ne pa ho dia omo ni bibia omo ebium. Ebusia na mo miankoko tie nsemi so a course so political headline so ye ba e de aka beto am so.
Who put in hours and hours of research to support the Republic's defense. It says the year. Well, that's just a shame side there. But there's a lot that's happening in this particular regard. And we're going to get there soon because after this ECOWAS court ruling, that doesn't end the matter. Because as I did indicate, there are a number of active cases already at the Supreme Court here in Ghana regarding this same matter of the removal of the former Chief Justice. And the Supreme Court has taken a decision regarding at least 4 of the cases, the active 4 cases regarding the removal of the Chief Justice, and that will happen in the coming days. So we'll get to that in a bit. But my colleague and our parliamentary affairs correspondent, Christian Yale, put this question to some members of parliament after we learned of this development. This is what they had to say about the ECOWAS court's ruling. Take a look.
Basis the fact that this has never happened before in the history of our country. It was putting, the justice system into jeopardy. And so I was expecting a better response from ECOWAS, at least to see her case, try it and let us know that, justice is being pursued. If even the external courts did not grant the reliefs that she sought, I don't see how, internal courts here will do any justice to what she's seeking.
You have always maintained from the beginning of the case that Justice Tokono had no case. It is after you have exhausted local remedies that you go to the international court. You remember that the Attorney General filed a preliminary objection which was put aside, and the court said that we are going to take over the matter. So it is done.
Well, beyond the members of parliament, these are the 4 cases that we're talking about that are still pending regarding the removal of the former Chief Justice. This, the first of the 4, in no particular order, by the way, is a suit that was brought by the old Tafo Member of Parliament, Vincent Tekwasefwa, essentially challenging the decision to remove the former Chief Justice. That, and also one that was brought by CSOs, Center for Citizenship, Constitution and Electoral Systems. And then the third case that also is active regarding this particular removal is one by Theodore Kofi Atta Korte, and a suit filed by the former Chief Justice herself. So these 4 cases have not been ruled upon as yet and are active cases in the Supreme Court of Ghana. So here's what the Supreme Court of Ghana has done. It is not going to hear these 4 cases individually because a number of the reliefs being sought, are basically similar if you look at it. So here's what the Supreme Court, based on the communication that we got today, they have decided that July 2 is the day for the judgment on all cases or active cases regarding the removal of the former Chief Justice. July 2 is a date to watch. So they're going to put together all these 4 cases. They are consolidating all these 4 pending cases, the ones I just referenced. And then on July 2, judgment will be delivered on these former Chief Justice Gatutokono removal consolidated cases. It's 4 of them. So July 2 is the date to watch for these, the ruling on these 4 cases. Also keep in mind that beyond that, after July 2, there's going to be another judgment to expect on July 3. That's Chairman Wontumi's case as well. So within that particular week, in the first week of July, July 2, July 3, the courts are going to be busy with judgment and rulings. So we'll keep an eye on that. But this is the panel that will be hearing this case or the consolidated cases regarding the removal of the former Chief Justice, His Lordship Justice Amadou Tanko, and His Lordship Justice Emmanuel Yoni Kolendi, His Lordship Justice Henry Anthony Kofi, His Lordship Justice Senyor Jamepe, and then His Lordship Justice Sir Dominic Dennis Ajay, His Lordship Justice Afisata Amaleboba, and His Lordship, no, Her Ladyship, I beg your pardon, Her Ladyship Justice Afisata Amaleboba, and then also His Lordship Justice Kweku Teria Akabuafo, all there, as you see it. So this, and pardon me for the error there, that's Her Ladyship Justice Amaleboba, and then also these. So these are the 7-member panel that will be hearing these consolidated cases as we have it in there. So that's the date to watch as well, July 2, for these cases. But Martin Pebu, his private legal practitioner, is one who's been consistent about conversations regarding the removal of the former Chief Justice. Is joining us on Zoom right now. Counsel, good evening. Thank you for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. And I start off with the ruling by the ECOWAS court and the brief detail that we got from the Deputy Attorney General regarding some of the reliefs that the former Chief Justice sought, and the decision by the courts to not even grant all 7 claims that she was making. How does this get to you?
Yeah, so so on the, let's say, the larger part, I'm not surprised, but there's a bit of a surprise too on a smaller scale. So let's go to what I'm not surprised about. What I'm not surprised about is the removal from office. Oh, that one, it was always clear from the one that it will be, I mean, almost, well, let me be careful. Though the ECOWAS court has ruled, the Supreme Court is here to rule on her case. That one, I understand the judgment is on July 2nd or so. You can double check. So let's be measured. So I would say that I'm not surprised, because one thing that's clear to me, let me break the case down. Simple. You see, the tickets Justice Tokonu bought for her daughter and her husband, you will not find that she's entitled to do that in her own conditions of service. You see it. Article 70 and 71 office holders, no? Periodically we have an expert is appointed to do a report, etc. Then the president will approve and all that. So what I'm saying is that when you look at her conditions of service, there is no policy or there's no provision inside there for those tickets. It was a certain policy the judiciary developed at a certain point, and that's one of the previous Chief Justice. And actually, I think Sophie Kufu, while she was in office, that was there. Yeah, so long story short, with time, it's been proven that it's an illegal policy. Simple story. So because that one is unknown to the Constitution, you see where the problem is. So it was always clear in my mind that as for the tickets, when you put all together, about 300 and something thousand, and so which form the basis for, her removal, that's the main plank of the case. It was always clear to me that, look, once it's public funds, even if it's one Ghana, you won't find a reasonable committee saying, oh, 1 Ghana is too small. A Chief Justice is a big office. So because of that, 300 and something thousand is no money. No. You see, 300 and something thousand is no money. I know in the large sections of our population that is the case, but we don't use the upper classes to judge. What we judge is that it's public funds. So that's money that should be available to the lowest employee to the highest. And let's remind ourselves about this. A lot of people don't know. There are millions and millions of our citizens who don't earn even 100,000 annually. So can say, let's make that point. Millions of our citizens, if you take their salary from January to December, put all together, they don't earn 100,000. So where you get up and say, oh, 300 and something thousand is no money. Yes, I know those circles where we say that's no money, but we don't use that for public discourse. Not when the constitution is concerned and then the constitution says we should protect public property, etc. You see, so those making the arguments, oh no, this hasn't reached a level of removal. No, they are dead wrong. Even if it was 1 Ghana, once there is a leak and you find out that you are not entitled to take the 1 Ghana, if somebody insists that the rules be applied, yes, we can only beg the person that, oh, when it's 1 Ghana, can we have mercy? Just like this one, you see how when this matter came, we're pleading that can she be allowed to resign? Can she be allowed to resign? But of course, she spurned the opportunity. She spurned it. But the record will show that at a point, President Mama even agreed that she should resign. But she spurned it and chose to fight. And of course, it was always clear that she was going to lose that one. But right now, we still have the Supreme Court yet to decide. So we'll be measured and wait for the Supreme Court to also come out. I understand July 2nd. You can double check the date. But the main thing is that the Supreme Court has not yet decided on similar claims that she put before them.
And indeed, July 2 is a date to watch regarding those cases you referenced pending before the Supreme Court. But, Counsel, you referenced what didn't surprise you in this ECOWAS ruling. Is there any element of surprise in there for you?
To the side, I was surprised, and so I want to see the judgment of the ECOWAS court. Is there two things. One, the time they were not allowing her to be accompanied by any person. You see that by the time we finished the debates, generally we were agreed that saying the hearing should be in camera, it's not the same as saying nobody should accompany her. That's not, if the framers of the Constitution wanted to say that she cannot get support from a family or friend, they would have said so nobody should accompany her. Because we all know that when you are going to committee settings or if you are going to court, you're allowed to go with people who want to support you, right? But to just say that the in camera also meant that nobody at all should come with her. I think that one, it was bad. So I would say some part of a loss of dignity, etc. A bit of it, yeah. So the matter of the failure to give a full ruling on the prima facie, because at that point we need to keep beating it so that it doesn't recur. It doesn't recur. When President Mahama decided that there should be there's a prima facie, they should have held President Mahama, I mean the system, with a full ruling, like what Okujeto did for President Kufuor when Professor Kweku Asare presented a petition for removal of Justice Tokonu and it was thrown out. You see, the Kufuor's ruling came full one, giving reasons because of X, because of Y, because of Z. I refuse this. So we also, because we want to see how the decision was made. So those two, I thought she would have had something, but they are not sufficient. These two issues are not sufficient to cancel her removal. No, they don't reach that place. You know, I've quoted this case ad nauseum, the Chachuchikata case, where the Supreme Court held that when the court is making a prima facie determination and the court fails to give reasons, like now we are advocating that it should be full reasons, it is not sufficient to say that that failure should then let the accused person walk free, or that failure makes the whole trial unfair that they will stop. No, they say that it just shows that the person taking the decision can be accused of bias, thoughtlessness, malice, right? But as for the side, they will not say because of that the person should be freed. So in this case, we're not saying that because JM didn't give a full ruling, then the whole removal is wrong. No.
Reference the pending cases, as a matter of fact, and you're right about it, regarding the Supreme Court also going to take a decision on these 4 cases that I referenced earlier. This is the panel expected to sit on the case on July 2. That's the date that has been communicated, Council, for a judgment on these 4 consolidated cases regarding the removal of the former Chief Justice. I mean, with the fact that the ECOWAS Court has ruled on this case and their verdict as communicated today, from where you sit, would it or can it have any bearing on these cases that are going to be adjudicated or ruled on July 2? I mean, I'm talking about the outcome of this ECOWAS court case today. Would it have any bearing whatsoever?
Can be yes in favor of this in her or no against her. So yes, because generally, depending on your confirmation bias, that oh, the removal is right, confirmation bias, you would say, oh, then in that case, it will be expected that the Supreme Court will even cite the ECOWAS court to say, you see, even ECOWAS court threw you out. We also throw you out. But it's also possible the Supreme Court will chart their own course. Okay. So it can cut both ways. Either it's for her that it will support her case, or it won't. Yes.
What are the odds from where you sit? I mean, you say the pendulum could swing either way. It could either favor her or not. But what's the possibility of either it favoring her or otherwise? I mean, taking into consideration all the elements at play.
Generally, it's expected that as for the removal, it will stand. That one is very clear to me. I've already told you. Yeah, that one very, very clear for the reasons that I gave. But where I expect that she will win would be that the human rights part, that she wasn't allowed to be accompanied by any person. I'm expecting, though I know it's possible they will throw it also out, but that particular point, we will keep beating it till we make sure that in future the rules allow that. I mean, come on, that's not the end of the world. The person is going to face a trial. The person needs 1 or 2 persons with her to give support. What is so sensitive about not letting anybody? What is it? The audit report itself had already leaked. The petitions, even if they don't leak, let's use this. Even if they don't leak, the basis of the allegations are even public documents. It was an audit report that flagged those things. That audit report is a public document. So what is so secretive about the process that somebody even accompany her is a problem? So as for that one, even if it doesn't win that case, that particular leg here about the human rights things, we'll keep beating it to make sure that we reform the rules to make them humane. Make them humane. That one and the failure to give a full reasoned ruling on the prima facie, these 2 things will keep hitting that. Will reform the laws. You know, at a point, you see that because the conversation even went on, you know, Majority Leader Mama Ayaga said they are going to come out with new rules. It's not everything that will lead to a removal. They will categorize them. And, you know, I mentioned that, yes, that kind of categorizing the offenses is a very popular thing that is currently done in our public sector here. If you take the police service, the regulation CI 76, you see major offenses, minor offenses, you see prison service, Ghana Education Service, a lot of the public sector services, you see major, minor, even judicial services for the
country. Would you say that this is a matter of galamsey?
Alfred, thank you very much. I think all of us are very much aware that Boy is one of the communities that is lying south of the Tunnel River Basin. And as such, we have also seen that there's a lot of illegal mining activities happening south of the basin, the Tunnel River. And this is where you have also Boy really situated. So with all the illegal mining activities happening, that has kind of clogged the river channel, removed the riparian vegetation, all of that, you expect that these kind of developments would happen. I mean, this year the rains have been quite intense and coming in as heavy as than the last year. So with the information we're getting from meteorological authority, it means that there's going to be more rains. And with the rains and our rivers all choked, and also with the mining going on that has diverted a lot of the rivers, like the tunnel downstream, you are surely going to expect some these kind of developments. So for me, I am not really surprised by the developments happening there. Also in the Sankregua area as well, which is also downstream. And I really hope that our state agencies, our traditional authorities, and persons in some of these communities who have a say will start paying attention to the call for us to start taking steps to protect our environment, and particularly our rivers. Because if a river is blocked, it will definitely find new course. And this is what we have seen in the Summer Boy area. So I think that it's quite surprising that we sat down for us to get to this point. But with all the calamity that is happening around our rivers, river bodies, this shouldn't be a big surprise to all of us.
And I say, you talk about it not being a big surprise. We've known this regarding the illegal mining in the Summer Boy area. In fact, that area and the illegal mining is a subject of a court case involving Bernadette Chibuesako, Chairman Wontumi, which is a case in court as we speak at the Supreme Court. And in July 3, we'll get to know the ruling of the courts on that particular matter. So it's publicly known the activities of illegal mining or illegal miners in this Summer Boy area. And from where you sit, based on the work you've done and the knowledge of the area, you say a big part of this flooding that we have seen over the last few days is as a result of the galamsey or illegal mining going on in the area?
I mean, Alfred, yes, I acknowledge that in most of our communities, our buildings and planning are not well done. So you have sometimes buildings and waterways and all of that, and clogged gutters and all that. But in this case of Summer Boy, this is a river that has overflown its banks and really has resulted in this kind of carnage. And so to this extent, you cannot put the blame than to say that, yes, Galamsey has contributed significantly to that. I would be surprised if anybody comes with any other reason why this is happening. Yes, the rains are coming in heavy. People will say it is climate change and all of that. But listen, let's be very frank with ourselves. This is not artificial. This is really an artificial case of we not managing our river systems well. So when the water flows, instead of it having some areas more like to settle and to take away the force of the floods, we have destroyed all of these areas. So the rivers have nowhere to go than to come directly to our homes. And this is what we're experiencing in the Summer Boy area, also downstream at St. River. So I think we need to be paying attention to this and not always explaining it away. So my brother, it is nothing more than the Galamsey coming back to haunt us.
Daryl, I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. And this is one that we'll keep an eye on here on Ghana Tonight. We'll be, in fact, updating you on it and also find out how this is impacting the community regarding the evacuation of these persons who have been affected by the floods there. Daryl Bosso is Deputy National Director of Arocha, Ghana. Before we go, I need to make a quick correction on regarding the panel that will be sitting, presiding over the case, the consolidated 4 cases that is with regards to the removal of the former Chief Justice Gertrude Araba Sabatukono. As you see there, His Lordship Justice Amadou Tanko is there, His Lordship Justice Emmanuel Yoni is there, His Lordship Justice Henry Anthony Kofi, and His Lordship Justice Senyor Jamepe. And then we have His Lordship Justice Sir Dominic Dennis J, Her Ladyship Justice Hafisata Abmani.
When they are a high court judge edit to ja, a catcher a chairman want to be lawyer say, on Mama to 29th June, on 1 year the almost or more bia, the yes idea, chairman want to be jail nana or beko. A bush was on subscribe and not subscribe, no share, no notification bell, no so am I. Then send me by political line, so I need to be about the 2 minutes.